Hi all. Right, welcome back. Enemy in Kharkov, German solo. This might just be part 24, I think, because I don't know if I got my numbers right the last time. I might have got mixed up again. That was quite a short part, the last one, but I think I'll just keep it as a part. Unless, of course, this is a quick Soviet impulse, then I may tag it on then, so we'll see. So that is what's coming next. Yes, after the disappointment that was that last our first real aggressive attempt at something just didn't happen, did it? Oh well, I'll just go to move on from that. Right, we'll get the next Soviet impulse going and see if we might suffer for the fact that we've only got one card left now. Right, let's see what damage gets done to us then after that. Yeah, oh, it's a units card though, but jeez. Yeah. Okay, well this probably will be a part on its own. Right, this is a primary card, obviously. This is not a primary card, so that goes in the auxiliary card slot. Yeah, and the first event on that is from turn 4 to 6, so it won't apply yet, so I'll sit there just now. So it's combat engineers and the combat tactic, and I think in some ways I'd rather that got used as a combat tactic, but well, maybe not. We shall see. Right, so that sits there, it doesn't do anything. We are going to activate all units and mobile group pop off, so well, I'm not sure how much time I've got just now, but again, I'll just pause and carry on from where I get up to. So we'll get started anyway. Okay, I think that's all the pop-off units activated. They've been in the wars a bit though, haven't they? I mean, this is reduced, these two are reduced, single step units. There's another one under here, single step. These two have obviously been reduced from 3-steppers, and this is the one intact unit, and they're spread about a little bit, so they don't really look as menacing as maybe what a third tank do, but well, let's not get carried away with ourselves, I think. Right, first off, their front objective. Moving about the Vornes front objective. It's right in the place where I want to put the camera, really. So there's a southwest front objective. Now, obviously there's nothing in it, there's not a German unit in it, and we're not round about it. Sorry, I say we. I think I kind of switch over when I'm playing as the Soviets. I kind of think it's myself, but maybe that's how I do that. Anyway, is there anything is there a southwest front unit proximate to the southwest front objective? Well, no there isn't. Now, would there have been if this guy didn't move down? It's possible. He moved from here to here, didn't he? So 1, 2 for this guy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, not quite. Nah, we'd have to go 6, 7. Yeah, we need 7 from there, and this guy we need to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so it wouldn't have mattered, but obviously now if this guy wasn't here, then this one might well have come across the river by going 1, 2, 3, 4 or 1, 2, 3, 4. So now when we're moving that down there, that means they can't do that, so we'll see what they get up to. So no, there's nothing proximate to this. That's what we were trying to establish there, Grant. Okay, so we can look at movement methods, and while we're just glancing at it, I suppose, are any of them in the town? No, there's no units in any towns or cities, so we're going to skip by the spearhead methods of 49, so it might end up moving a little bit quicker. Okay, well, starting with movement method 1, is there a VP hex? there won't be. Not a German VP hex. No. They've still, again, like I say, we've still got everything secure. We've still got a line right the way across. So no. Move method 2, adjacent to German VP hex and near objective. Well, this is the one that, now, is this hex still full? This is it is indeed. So this hex is still full. However, there's a space in this hex. So somebody must have moved out of there, did they? Was it a third tank unit? Yeah, they bounced a lot of third tank units back to reserves. Yeah, there was. No, I'll tell you what it is. Sorry, there was 3. Yeah, there's plenty of space around this one now, isn't there? Because there's 2 possible hexes around this German VP hex. So, and this was full, and this was full. So we do actually have, yeah, that's all the four third tank units bounced back, 1 from here and the 3 that were in here. And by the way, we don't have any reserves for pop-off in the reserve units box at the moment. So there is indeed space for units to move here, which is, I don't know, there's some strange movements going on. I had a comment from, I think I'll probably say your name would be Lawrence, I think. Is it Lawrence? I think so. Well, I'm guessing that's your name. Yeah, he was saying that it was a kind of strange move from the pop-up units. The last, I think he was talking part 19. Or was he talking about me? Oh, no, that's right. The fact that they're going, this is a southwest front. Sorry, no, this is a Vornesh front VP hex. Nobody's come and said anything different then regarding that, Lawrence, and I don't think you were suggesting any of that yourself. No, in fact, I think you seem to think that I'd got everything right. So, yeah, I mean, the word in, you know, this whole preference about targeted exclusively by the active front, obviously means that if they could target this one along here, for instance, which is for the southwest front, they would. However, when they're limited to, well, it's going to be the same in this case, they're limited to this one hex. Well, not quite true. There's space along here as well now, which is also a Vornesh front exclusive VP target. So, yeah. Yeah, and then of course we had the third tank units that were over there, and now they've moved over here, and yeah, long may it continue. If they're just going to shuffle about, that would be fine for me. That the longer they don't break through, then the better for me, I think. I think that's how it should work. But anyway, let's get back to the movement method. So move to a hex closer to or within 4 hexes of front objective. Well, their front objective is close by, and in actual fact, if they were to move to here or here, this is 1, 2, 3, 4 away, and also that's only 3 away. So they wouldn't even need to be moving closer to be looking at these 2 hexes. So yeah, it does look like they're going to move back towards there. Okay. However, they do, if they've got a choice, well, they don't have a choice. Well, they do they? Can any of them get across to, which would be, this would be the only hex option. I don't think anybody could get across there. Even if these units wanted to move to there, I don't think they would do it anyway, would they? Let's just look at the movement just in case. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4 to go across there. Fine. Yeah, let's forget about that. Because everything's breaking zone of control. I mean, even this unit here 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, they can't get away up round there. So the only possible hex German VP hex to move towards that we've got is going to be this one. We're already got, it's all full around this one. We can't get anything in unless one of these units was to move out. But I'm not so sure I can see that happening. And in fact, hang on. If start adjacent to most preferred VP hex within 4 hexes of objective, don't move at all. So I think they're going to lock themselves in, aren't they? Well, let's just keep that in mind and start from how we should be in ascending order. However, this guy can't get away down to here. Either one of these hexes. That's far too far away. So that was unit 1. Yeah, they're all quite high unit numbers after that, aren't they? That's 17. So 13 is actually the next one to look at. So unit 13. Right, okay, I've been trying to think of this one, right? Unit 13 is adjacent to German VP hex, right? So a Soviet unit starting adjacent to German VP hex within 4 hexes of the objective marker, which he is 1, 2, 3, 4, and unable to move to a more preferred VP hex, does not move by this or any subsequent method. So I looked at this before and wondered, I mean, let's just look at the start of the instruction then for this guy. It says move to a hex closer to or within 4 hexes of the unit's objective marker. Well, he's within 4 anyway, right? So move to hex closer to or within 4 hexes of the unit's objective marker and adjacent to German VP hex. Okay, so yeah, the thing is, Grant, he can't move. Well, he could move into this hex. However, if he's going to settle around this German unit, we're going to do the whole what's that, 9.25 anyway. But should I be looking at trying to move? I guess what I'm asking here is, if there was a space in here, would this unit then look at the preferences, and the preference being a VP hex targeted exclusive by active front, occupied with the least German strength? I suppose what I'm asking, if this German had only 4 strength, shall we say, and there was a space in there, would this unit move from there to there? Because I think he would, because it says a Soviet unit starting adjacent to German VP hex within 4 hexes of the objective marker and unable to move to a more preferred VP hex. So I think the preferred VP hex would be that the preference is either exclusively targeted by the active front, or it's occupied by the least German strength, or it's not across the Dnieper River, or it's got the highest VP value. So the fact that if this was a 4 strength German unit and there was a space in there, and that is assuming he's got the movement, I think he might have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, only just, but I think he has. So I think he would actually move to there. Now, does that at all mean that he would move from here to here? Well, no, because he's already adjacent to his preferred VP hex. I think that's what I was getting a bit muddled up with, thinking he's looking for a preferred hex round his VP hex, but that's not what that's meaning, is it? It's meaning to a more preferred VP hex, so a different VP hex, not this one, something else. So to me, he is a Soviet unit starting adjacent to German VP hex within 4 hexes of the objective marker and is unable to move to a more preferred VP hex. So he is not going to move by this or any subsequent method, except as directed by 9.25. So what I'm going to do with him is, well, first of all, I suppose we could look, because actually, I think he will move, because it's closer to his objective, isn't it? Yeah. Right, well, does 9.25 do that, though? what it does if you go to tiebreakers, does that. But there you go then. Well, let's look at it, Grant. Let's look at it first. So the only way this guy can move is with 9.25. He is adjacent to German. Ooh, he's adjacent to German units. Ooh. The plot thickens. Right, okay. So let's introduce John's latest thing about when you are, well, it is mentioned about when you move adjacent to multiple German units, but I've got to feel that this is the same. Although I'm not moving to them, I'm wanting to look at them 9.25 wise and see where I want to move adjacent round about them. So I need to know if I can move in here or potentially here. I don't think I would have the movement for that, but well, actually you never know. 1, 2, 3. No, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Isn't it? It's 2 to cross that, 1 to go in that, 1 to break zone of control. 4, 5. So yeah, he can't get around there, but he could. Oh, actually, no, he can't. We looked at this before, Grant. I mean, look at the terrain you're moving into. So, well, we're going to get away with that one then. But I think I need assurance from somebody that this unit hasn't moved here. He's only been told that he's not going to move by any other movement method in this activation, unless by 9.25 just now. So does that still count for John's latest thing about comparing these two, finding out if the preference, I'm getting myself tied up there. Well, yeah, I'm still not sure about this. So it's not going to matter here, but I need to know a bit more. I had a feeling that the answer that John gave there was leaving still a bit to be, unless it's just my mind, right? What, John, I mean, are we considering the preferences within movement method 2 here while we're looking at this 9.25? If we are, then he wanted to move adjacent to a German VP hex. Now that's where he is. Does that mean that when at 9.25, this has to be the target that I'm looking round about? Meaning I need to stay adjacent to the VP hex? Or, in this situation here, can I consider this German unit 2 and moving round about him? I'm not feeling 100% sure that I've got that right. I know John tried to say that if the preference is the movement method you're moving with, but you can see we've not moved here, we're just sitting here, we're trying to adjust. Yeah, I might need more help with this one, and I think I might have to ask a bit more about this, unless somebody watching this can come and explain it to me. Maybe a wee diagram or something, just to give an example of how to deal with it, because there's a couple of things in this that I'm not sure. One of them is, are we even looking at movement method 2 still? I mean, surely you've got to be. Even though we're just moving it with 9.25, it's throughout movement method 2. So, and if that's the case, and the fact that we've not moved here, are we still needing to be adjacent to this German VP hex, meaning that we can't adjust around this one? I think I'm getting my question across. I think maybe not. Okay, well, we know we can't move into this one anyway. We don't have the movement points, but that's not solving the problem for me. Because if this was a clear hex right now, well, no, I couldn't do it. But yeah, you know what I mean. If I could go out and in here, I wouldn't be sure if doing that would be breaking the, moving away from this guy would be right. I'm not feeling 100% sure about it. I want to say that no, I think I've got to stay beside this, stay adjacent to the VP hex. But yeah. Okay. I guess it's because that I've been looking at it since before John said anything about it. I've just been looking at any German unit adjacent. Okay, sorry, text message. But at least I don't get, even when my phone rings now, I can just pause you and I can carry on. It doesn't cut the video off or anything, because yeah, I'm just using this expensive monthly contract phone as a recording device. Yeah, like I say, as long as I've got a phone I can answer. It doesn't need to be any fancy dancy thing. Right. Well, okay, but so we can 9.25 between this hex and this hex. So where would you prefer to be then if you had that option? It's wouldn't be surrounding. Nope. It's in support. Hex not occupied by and all that. No, that wouldn't work. An empty hex. Well, there you go. An empty hex, because there's a unit already in here, isn't there? So the empty hex part of this says that he wants to adjust into there. And in fact, the unit underneath, we might see him having to look at a tiebreaker then, possibly. Okay, so can this guy move into here then? So we're looking at this, but I think so. I think it's 4 for him to get into there, and yeah, he's down the road after that. So this is a clear hex. So 1 breaking zone of control, 2 crossing the river is 3, 1 into the hex is 4, and 1 back down there is 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he's just tactically adjusting. Sorry, I keep using the words, but that's just how I feel about it. With 9.25. And that was unit 13. Okay, unit 16 is next, I think. Also a mechanised unit. Now he is adjacent to this German unit, but however he's not adjacent to a VP hex, so he would like to try and reach here or here, I believe. Okay, so I think he can reach both of these. It's 1, 2 breaking zone of control, 3, 4, 5 into the woods there, or 1, 2 breaking zone of control, 3 into the clear hex, and then 4, 5 over the river, 6 into the hex. So you can move to either or them. Now, just there wasn't any restrictions broken there. I don't think there will be here either. Because again, it's still that the real restrictions are removing surround. Don't remove surround from a German unit, and don't leave a VP hex proximate to a German unit. That's basically the gist of it, until we kick into turn 4, I think, isn't it? Turn 4 introduces the supply part, so yeah, so they're the main two we need to worry about, and I don't think unit 16 moving to they two would do the same. Right, so he's definitely going to end adjacent to a German hex, a German unit. So we don't need to tie break between the two, we just need to move directly to 9.25 to see which one he's going to go to. And my guess is if we can't break it down between the two, then we tie break between the two, right? So, the reason I'm saying that is because I don't think we're going to find one, are we? Again, there's no surround, and none of them are empty, and none of them, I think it's not occupied by an active unit. They're both active units, so we can't break it down with 9.25, but tiebreakers are going to say the first one is going to be closest to the unit's objective marker, and this is 1 hex closer, 1, 2, 3, whereas this is 4 away, so this is where it's going to go. So like I say, 1, 2 breaking zone of control, and then I'm going to put them underneath. 3, 4, 5 into the woods, and that's that. So that was, what was it, 16, wasn't it? 16. Right, so 17's next. Now there's still room here, so he's wanting to do the same. However, he has infantry, so I don't think he's going to make it. Yeah, he can't make it because this is a woods and there's no road from there to there, so it's 1, 2 breakings under control, 3, and then it would be another 2, and yeah, that's even more movement to get in there. So he can't go with that. 18 would be next. He's too. Zoom out a little bit. 18's up here. He's too far away. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, because one of these units moved away, didn't it? That unit moved down, breaking this around from that. Yeah, okay. So 18 can't do it. Now, 23. So this is somewhat the situation we had here, because these are adjacent to German unit already. No, not 23, Grant. 20, yeah. So we know he's adjacent to his preferred VP hex, same as what unit? 13 was it? Yeah, 13 was. So he's happy with the hex he's at. So he's not going to move at all in this activation unless he can move via 9.25. And unless he's breaking a restriction, I'm pretty sure he's going to, because, well, again, another wee slight grey area, but I think this is right. The fact that he's happy and the only thing that's going to move him is 9.25. We look through 9.25, right? And we don't find a hex between these two. Now there's space in this hex. We don't find a hex between these two. Do we leave this guy here where he is, or do we still tie break between the two? I feel the need to tie break, but I mean, yeah, I think so, because, and also he's staying beside his VP hex. So yeah, and then in tiebreakers, obviously preference A is closest to the unit's objective, and that hex is closer. So I'm going to do it again, assuming that, like I say, there's no. And he's got just enough movement, hasn't he? Well, he's got more than enough, I think. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 to move into there, and then 1 down the road again. So, and these came from there. But please let me know if you think I might have that one wrong. I don't see how I'm getting that one wrong. I think the fact that 9.25 decides there's these two options, and then you've got to be able to pick between the two, haven't you? You don't just stay in the same bat, but yeah, maybe. I don't know. I feel like it's right to tie break there. Now, was there any instructions broken there then? No, again, none of these units were surrounded anyway. And there's still not anything opened up to a VP hex. So no, so everyone's fine. So now we look at 23. Now he's going to be the same as what these guys were. He's going to be content. He's going to be happy that he's round his preferred VP hex, isn't he? Yeah, because this is the situation that do I have enough movement to get there anyway? Don't think I do I? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, no, I do. So these guys could move into this hex adjacent to this guy. So that's the question I was asking the other way about. If this was 4 strength, for instance, I mean, if it was 4 strength, would these guys look and say, right, can we get to a more preferred VP hex? Well, what's the preferences? Targeted exclusively by the active front. Well, no, that one's not. We're sitting at one that, I mean, to be honest, this one's got about half in it, but it's not asking that. So let's look at the next preference. Occupy by the least German strength. Oh, wait a minute. This guy's got 4 strength, this guy's got 5. Let's go up there instead. Is that right? I think it is. But again, I'm not feeling 100% sure. Anyway, that's not the case. They're both 5 strengths, so, but going to come a time when I'm probably going to need to know that one for sure as well. So they are in the most preferred hex. Well, here we go again. Yes, here we go indeed. Because if we're contemplating this German unit being adjacent to us too, that then opens up this hex for a possible, and you know what? That's going to be an empty hex this time. So you're going to have to make your mind up on this one, Grant, or get some, because if we are going to 9.25 between these 2 German units, I believe this guy's going to move into here. No, well, I know he is. It's an empty hex, isn't it? And the preferences are operational limit, cause surround, not going to apply. In support, they're all in support. Hex not adjacent, no, hex not occupied by or adjacent to a German unit adjacent to the same Soviet. No, got that muddled up. Hex not adjacent, not occupied by or adjacent to a Soviet unit adjacent to the same German unit. Well, that would be if he moved there, so that doesn't count. But the next one's an empty or garrison hex, and that one's not empty, that one is empty. So if we're taking this guy into account, he would move here. However, I think that, like, I think what Jones said, I think his meaning of that is that this is our preference and this should be our target. Yeah, I think I'm going to need to know a wee bit more about some of these questions to get things right here. I think what the best thing to do would be to maybe take a couple of pictures, write a few descriptions, because it's either that, or if I could guarantee somebody would give me feedback on the video. But I suppose right now, at this moment in time, I do need to decide what I'm doing here, so I think I need to ask questions. So I think I'm going to take a pause here anyway. Yeah, good timing, I think. That's me getting called on. Right, so I'm going to take a pause here, and yeah, hopefully I'll be able to add more to this when I get back. But you might see a BGG question before. Well, yeah, I might put up a BGG question before I start recording again, shall we say. Okay, cheers for now, guys. Hi all. Right, this should be the second half of part 24? Or was it 23? 24, yes. Yeah, and I'd left things like this yesterday. Well, I'd run out of time anyway, but there's also a couple of issues, a couple of doubts in my mind again about this moving adjacent to multiple German units. And I said I might try and put a post together. Well, I've just done that just now and put it up. I mean, I personally think it's only been 3 questions asked. I thought I was going to end up asking more, but I tried to sort of set it all out in a way that with pictures and whatever, so it took a bit of time, to be honest. So with that in the end, I thought I only had the 3 sort of questions to ask, and to be honest, 2 of them, they're quite similar, and it's basically about when you're moving adjacent to 2 German units, should you be considering the other German unit that's probably not got anything to do with your preference or your requirement of your movement method. And I think that's what John's answer was. You know, the last thing we were saying was, right, if the unit was in here, there was a couple of units in here, wasn't there? And they weren't going to move, but they could adjust with 9.25. And I was like, well, should we be considering adjusting? Fortunately, there was no movement. The movement was too much to get in there, I believe, wasn't it? But that wasn't the point. If that had been a clear hex, then you would have been able to go out and in. Actually, no, you wouldn't. But anyway, it doesn't matter. What I'm saying is, should we be considering hexes round this unit when the movement method is clearly all about being adjacent to a German VP hex? So if I move there, then I'm breaking away from the movement method. But the other thing is with that is when you move normally. When you move normally to a single unit, you can then, I mean, remember we had, yeah, but was that right though? Maybe that was before we've got John's fresh sort of update on how you should look at it. Yeah, because was it not in this area and I ended up moving units away around, or was that further, was that over there maybe? I can't remember exactly, but yeah, because we know you can break restrictions, not restrictions, sorry. We know you can break requirements, preferences, and what's the other one? Within 9.25? Tiebreaker. No. Yeah. Cannot conform to the tiebreakers, preferences of requirements of the movement. So we know that it doesn't have to stay adjacent to this unit. But I think because of what we're doing here, because it's adjacent to two German units and the movement method wants to be adjacent to this unit, I think that's where we don't consider these. But I'm still not 100% sure, and that's why I think we've had to go and ask this question. So yeah, there's three questions. The first one's a bit daft, to be honest, and then the other two is regarding the situation up there being adjacent to two German units with that 40th Army unit, and then the situation here just before this unit moved and here being adjacent to these two German units. Because as we're about to see, and this is where I stopped my recording, was we're getting the exact same here, because these are adjacent to two German units too. So and I know for a fact that if I consider this German unit, that this unit's going to move away from this VP hex and go in this empty hex. So that's kind of how I need to know. Now John's reply, and you know, although he only mentioned, I wish I had it written. Although he only mentioned strength. Wait a minute. I mean, in actual fact, he talks about being a preference, and he talks about least strength or nearest objective. Well, I mean, this isn't exactly a preference. We're talking about the exact movement method. The movement method is to move adjacent to a VP hex and nearest objective marker. And if you're already within 4 of that, you don't move at all, but you check 9.25. But the fact that he's adjacent to another German unit here means surely we do not consider hexes round about him. But I think that's how we were trying to deal with it at first. Yeah, anyway. Hopefully somebody's going to look at the questions and put me straight. I think Martin will know exactly what John's talking about, or he'll be able to sort of, well, like I say, it's one and the same person, really, isn't it? Right, anyway. Okay, well, can we move on with this? Yeah, so I'd moved 13, in fact, they all moved into this hex, 13, 16 and 20. Now 13 and 20 were in here and just adjusted. 16 was across here, but he wasn't adjacent to a VP hex. There's no room here to be adjacent, and he couldn't reach here, so he went here, adjacent there. So, very good. 17 and 18 weren't able to do any movement, but they're not locked in yet, so we can come back to them. And yeah, the one next we were on was 23, and of course he's in the same boat. Like I say, we're looking at movement method 2, and he is a Soviet unit starting adjacent to a German VP hex within 4 hexes of the objective marker and unable to move to a more preferred VP hex. Is not moved by this or any subsequent method except as directed by 9.25. So he's only looking at 9.25 as well. And And I know I was talking about this preference between the VP hexes. I'm pretty sure I'm right in my thinking with that. That was going to start being one of my questions as well, but I think I'm right in saying that if this was a 4-strength German unit, that this would then be more preferential than this. And this unit might, if he could, move round to there. Yeah, maybe I should have chucked that in there. I think it's right though, because that's what it's wanting. It's wanting a more preferential VP hex. So anyway, I don't think there's not a more preferential VP hex to where he is. So these guys are going to lock in unless they can adjust with 9.25. I'm going to stick by my thinking here, and the 3 questions that I did put out there, I meant to write at the bottom actually, but my view on them, the 3 questions was that they were all going to be answered yes. So yeah, I did think there was going to be more questions, so but I was asking them with the intention of me answering them as yes, but yeah, it started taking a bit more time than I thought, to be honest. Well, I've done it that way because I feel like some of my video footage when I'm asking questions, I'm maybe not getting answers all the time, you know, and some of them you need to, so you've got to go and pop the question sometimes. Okay, so well, I'm going to stick by that and say that he can adjust with 9.25. However, his movement method is adjacent to German VP hex and near objective. Now, John mentions if a preference tells you otherwise. I mean, there's no preferences within that movement method. Well, there's not, because the preferences are directing you to the preferred VP hex, you know, and there's not a more preferred VP hex than this, so this is still the target. So I mean, surely, yes. I mean, the one we had up there, well, yeah, I suppose that was a slightly different question. Sorry to just jump up here. My first question, sorry, it was my second question. The first one was a bit daft, like I say. Well, it was about the fact that I've not moved, this unit, was it this unit? Didn't move at all. He was, oh yeah, I made a mistake there. I got away with it. I put a note in the header when I was looking back on the footage. Remember, these units move with 9.26 because they've got an army objective, and this guy could have locked in with movement 9.6 movement method 2, which is adjacent to German unit, and it copies method 8 from 9.21. And method 8 is move to an unoccupied hex that is adjacent to German unit and not adjacent to Soviet unit, adjacent to that same German unit. Quite a mouthful, but and then at the end of it, it says a unit starting in a hex satisfying this movement method does not move by this or any subsequent method except as directed by 9.25. Well, I looked at all our units here and thought they were all adjacent, so they wouldn't lock in. This one is adjacent to this and it's also adjacent to a Soviet unit. But this one's on its own. Although it's adjacent to this unit, they're not both adjacent to the German unit. So he would have locked in on that and 9.25 from that. And I think my question was, because I'm not doing anything and I'm 9.25 and then I'm actually looking at the possibility of moving to this hex, do I still tie break between the two? I mean, I think you do. You know, yeah. But what I ended up doing, I missed that, but then I went on to movement method 3 and he actually locked in there anyway, and so we had the same result, but it was just I missed that one a bit. But yeah, my second question, hang on a sec. Yeah, the second question was regarding this unit, and he's adjacent to 2 German units, and again, he is well, this is movement method 3 with 9.26. And he is, if starting adjacent to a German unit that is in or closest to the objective hex, the unit does not move at all in this activation except directed by 9.25. Well, this was his target, because remember, we're looking, if I zoom out a bit, you'll see it. We're looking at the unit that's closest to our army objective, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. All three of them were options, but the preferences were the unit and the hex closest to the moving unit. So that ruled this guy out. So it was between they two, and then between they two it was the highest numbered hex. So it was this guy. So, but again, I just broke this down to believe that we shouldn't be checking 9.25 round this unit. And you know, let's just say, I mean, it's not going to go there because it's not an empty hex. But let's just say that was an empty hex here. Then we're looking at two German units. We're looking at this hex, or this hex. Then, okay, you know, it could go to either three. You know, but I don't think we should consider this because this is our target here. But again, that's what I want to know for sure. But I'm going to plod on with my thinking that that's how I'm going to deal with it. At the moment, I'm not going to 9.25 considering this German unit. I'm only going to consider this German unit. I did hope to get that question out earlier this afternoon so that when I sat down later this evening, or tonight, should I say, that I might be more comfortable when somebody's went and told me, yes, that's how I would do it. So, however, we'll just need to hope that's the case. And well, if we get it wrong, maybe we can fix it. And if not, then you just have to put some of these down to like not quite understanding the rules and not 100% sure of them, and just have to go with it. I mean, if you look back on my playthrough now and the Soviet solo playthrough, there was probably quite a few things that, well, there was a few rules that were broken because they needed some changing in the rule book, to be honest. So, you know, what can you do about that? And in some ways I feel pretty good about the fact that these have come out in my playthrough and then they've been fixed, you know, so that's good. Right, okay, anyway, we want some gameplay because it's been a while. So movement method 2, right, no, 9.25, that's all we're doing, and we're only considering this guy. So the only possible hexes, we can't get in there. You can stay where he is. Well, there you go, that's that, isn't it? You can always stay where he is. So do they lock in? They will do, don't they? Yeah, 9.25, that is the only hex that they can stay adjacent to. So they do not move by this or any subsequent method. So I'll be turning in, well, he's 23, is 26 next? Actually it is, yeah. So 26 will be turning that way, and that's me, just my way of saying that these guys haven't moved, but they can't carry out any other movement. They can still be involved in an attack check or an attack, but they can't look at any other movement methods. So, okay. Right, 23, so what have we got in it? Well, that would be the last one, wouldn't it? 20 was under the bottom of there, and like I say, if I've got them on top of units, then it must mean that they've moved as well, or I would have the unit on top. Yeah, okay, well that's right. Movement method 3 then is open supply line, doesn't start until next turn. And then 4 to 9 is spearhead, so they've done the thing. So it's only these 3 units, isn't it? Yeah, there doesn't seem as many. No, yeah, I think I said this before. It felt like there was a lack of pop-off units. Sorry, I'm maybe not showing you showing the important part now, which is it's these 3 units that haven't done anything yet. Is there something missing? I don't know. I mean, there's 3 in there. There's 2 there. That's really 6, 7, 8. So there's only 8 pop-off units. Does that sound right? I'm sure there's more third tank, is there not? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No. They went back to the thing. 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, there is 10 compared to 8 pop-off units. And yeah, so third tank is a stronger. In fact, they get more reserves as well as time. Well, it's about the same. Yeah. No, I think they still do get a wee bit more. Right, okay, it's just worrying me that I've missed somebody, but I mean, I'm careful about trying to leave the bar on the top if I've got them stacked underneath, but no. I mean, there's a 6th Army unit under there, but sorry, have I got that one? I'm standing up having a look. Yeah, 6th Army unit under there. Right, okay, so it's just the 3 units. And we're just going to avoid between 4 and 9 we're not looking at. So follow movement arrows is movement method 10. In ascending order. That's not going to happen, is it? No. No. And no. So can't do that. Move closest to front objective. Well, yeah, 17 might be doing this. Is this ascending as well? Right, unit 1, he's going to do his flicker again, isn't he? Is this not the one he flickers? Just thinks about going there and says, no, I'll stay where I am. Well, I suppose we better double check. And it's because, well, I mean, he's protecting Izium, so I suppose that's the reason he's flickering back, isn't it? Well, no, it's not, because I think he can get to here, can't he? And then well, you know what though, maybe, no, I'll not come into it. Right, let's go through the method, Grant. Can he move to a hex that's closer to the unit's front objective, not the same distance from the objective? Okay, well, I'll zoom out and let you see the objective. There, it's there. So he's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's 8 hexes away where he is. So can he get closer first? Let's just see that first. Right, I think that's all his options. Now these 2, 3, these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, these 3 here are 7 hexes away. Remember, he's 8 hexes away. They're 7 hexes away. These 2 are actually 6 hexes away. But I mean, certainly if he goes to either one of these 2, right, then we're breaking, Izium's going to be approximate to a German unit, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's both of these options out. Let me put him back. Well, he's not moved yet. So that's both of the options out. And in fact, it's that one out as well, isn't it? Because if we moved into there as well, we'd still be able to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So that's that one out as well. So yeah, I think it's the same situation. You can go to both of them and not break the restriction. So yeah, we need to tie break between the 2. I think what we do here is we tie break between the 2. He goes to here and then the 9.25s and finds out he wants to be back there. It's something like that, isn't it? Well, let's just double check. Let's say it has been a wee bit a while, but I think that's kind of what happens, isn't it? So we tie break between the 2 hexes. Closest to the unit's objective marker. Well, they're both 7. An empty hex, are both empty. The hex first, yeah, it's the compass direction, isn't it? So he now then moves to here. So again, well, I'm saying he moves to here. This would have been a good question to put. But then, if he adjusts back to the same hex, does that not just mean he just doesn't move, Grant? Surely that's common sense, is it not? He doesn't move to here and then go back. No, because that's not what happens. This is where he wants to move to, but he's going to check 9.25. So it's not that hex. And then with 9.25 between yeah, it's just the 2 hexes, isn't it? Yeah. So we meant 9.25 between the 2. And this time he's only adjacent to 1 German unit, so we don't need to look into that one. Operational limit. Surround, no. Support, okay. A hex not occupied by... There we go. Okay, he is... no, he's not. It's not going to break it, is it? But, however, I think the last time I done this was before we had John's confirmation that, I mean, even after we got, well, that's not true because I did read it. What the rule says just now, right, in the rule book is a hex not adjacent to a Soviet unit. That's all it says, a hex not adjacent to a Soviet unit. So if we're considering this hex or that hex, this hex is not adjacent to the Soviet unit. However, this hex, if it goes here, is adjacent to the Soviet unit. But, and then, I think that's maybe why, yeah, in fact, yeah, that is. Because we're not finding a preference at all here. Although, well, wait a minute. No, tiebreaker's going to leave them there, isn't it? I think so, yeah. Well, let's see. Because I was getting this wrong. However, I don't really blame myself. Well, I gave myself a bit of a kick because I think Martin probably realised the wording should have been exactly the same as the Soviet Solo version, but I just didn't click to that at all. So, what the wording has been changed to, well, I confuse the issue and say what I thought the wording was changed. No, don't. Just say what John changed the wording to. I mean, I did challenge it and say, are you sure you meant that? And John says, yeah, that's meant to be there. So the wording is, a hex not occupied by or adjacent to a Soviet unit adjacent to the same German unit. So, and I thought it was getting changed to, right, you're going to say it, aren't you, Grant? A hex not occupied by or adjacent to a Soviet unit. And this is adjacent to a Soviet unit. But that's not what it was in Soviet Solo. And it doesn't really make so much sense. I mean, why does this unit bother about this guy? He's adjacent to his own unit. He's, you know, so I maybe should have realised that. So now, looking at this one, this hex is not occupied by or adjacent to a German unit, or adjacent to a Soviet unit adjacent to the same German unit. So both the hexes are an option now, whereas I was not counting this before, and I flickered that guy back into there and said, well, that's where he's staying. So that's not been the case, so I've kind of got that one wrong. So I hope that's not done in. But again, we were trying to get the rules clarified, really, so I'm not feeling awful about that one, but okay, maybe I should have picked it up. But so, and then the next one's empty or garrison hex. They're both empty. The next one's a hex not occupied by an active unit, which would be both of them as well. So we can't actually break that down. And then if you look at tiebreakers, if we're 9.25 and here's the thing, we've moved them to there. So we moved there with the movement method, that's right. Then we automatically went to 9.25, that's right. And we still not found a solution, so yeah, we do need to go to tiebreakers, yeah. So, yeah, because I think that's what John said, isn't it? Okay, so I went away and checked that, and then I've had a response from Martin regarding my questions, and I suppose it has made me feel a bit daft now. But let's get this finished as well, because I was checking that, and yeah, John says movement methods, if you move adjacent to a German unit, 9.25, and then if you need to tiebreak after that, tiebreak. So what we did was we moved here with 9.25 with the possibility of both these hexes, even though this was one that we've moved from, I think it can still be considered. And so we then tiebreak between the two, and well, in actual fact, that's going to be closest to the unit's objective, isn't it? So that's where he's going to go to. So that's going to be that. And there's no restriction broken. They still can't get through. With him there, they can't get through to Slovansk or Izium. There's still not a gap. So it kind of looks like that guy should have moved there in the last impulse. In fact, has he not maybe done it twice? So, well, my bad. But however, we have been trying to work our way through some sticky rules. Well, it's sticky to me maybe, but maybe some others. All right, right. Martin's answered my questions, and yeah, okay, maybe I'm feeling daft. First of all, regarding if I would mean checking 9.25, realising that I'm just going to stay there, do a still tie break, and I mean, he gave me the impression that yeah, you would still tie break. However, this wouldn't be selected because the rule that I've just read out to you about 9.25d, a hex not occupied by or adjacent to a Soviet unit adjacent to the same German unit. That is a hex that's adjacent to a Soviet unit adjacent to the same German unit. So that's why he stays there anyway. But okay. Yeah, I'm going to say that if you do have the choice of the two and you haven't moved, then you still tie break. And then the answer to the two other questions, he basically said that, yeah, I mean, that's what John said, that the preference, in this case, the preference was, this was his target, so he doesn't consider this unit, he only considers around about that one. Sorry, yeah, I got dragged away there. Yeah, I suppose this is, it's still a preference to come at this. I mean, I think I was thinking the way John said preferences that you'd look further, but I think I've just not been reading that properly, really, and understanding it, because although it was a requirement that the movement method, well, for that one, what was it, 9.26 movement method 3, we had to preference to get this target, you know, because we were targeting between the three. So, and he does mention your target unit, and that's what that is. So, yeah, and then the other one is kind of the same, because this is a target hex. This is your target hex. So the fact that this is a target hex, I suppose this, well, I don't know. I mean, it's not talking about a unit here. The movement method 2 is talking about the VP hex. It's not talking about any unit. It will guide you through preferences to find the VP hex. But I suppose what you've got to take from that is, once you've found the VP hex, and if you're needing to look at 9.25, there must be a German unit in that VP hex. So there you go. Yeah. Okay, fair enough. It maybe did sound daft, but I don't know. Sometimes these things just bother me, and I want to make sure. And yeah, okay. Yeah, I did leave him a question, and for any of the rest of you, if you want to. I mean, I'm sure it must be out there, but John did say that if there was no preferences to decide which unit, was your target, that you would consider all units that you moved adjacent to. I'm just curious if that situation is ever going to arise, because surely you're always moving with something in mind. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe movement arrows. If you're following movement arrows and you end up adjacent to 2 units. Yeah, I suppose something like that. Maybe. Okay. Right. Okay. So we've done unit 1. We've got them moved at long last. So there's that. Right. So yeah. Where are we? Right. 11. Movement method 11 on unit 17. We've just got 17 and 18 starting to move. So it looks like 17 I'll be able to move, maybe not so 18. So closer to his front objective. It's not too far away, but let's have a look. Okay, well, I can go into the 2. Oh no, I'm lying. Oh no, I was counting the braking zone of control. I thought I wasn't there for a minute, but I was. So 1, 2 braking zone of control, 3 into there, and he's 3 away where he is. Oops. Yeah, he's 3 away from where he is, and if he moves here, he's 2 away. And obviously, he can also go 1, 2 braking zone of control, 3, 4 back into the woods here, and he's 2 away. So he's got a choice of 2 hexes now. Well, they're actually, yeah. Now they're both adjacent to a German unit right now. I noticed this one. Right? Does this matter? Does this matter? I noticed this one came up before. And I had started coming under the assumption, like what Jones had said, that whenever you're definitely going to move adjacent to a German unit, you would then move straight to 9.25. So rather than tie break between these, but do we not have to tie break first and then between them? But the thing is, we know we're going to have to look at 9.25. And from where I am just now, if I was to go straight to 9.25 now, before actually moving, then surely I could... Yeah, that doesn't work, does it? Yeah, so clearly I think I need to tie break first. Yeah, I still feel you must have to tie break first. I was going through things there. Tie break is going to bring it to here, because that's going to be west in the compass direction. And because the thing is, the only possible hexes you can reach around these two units is this one here. This hex is full, right? And this one, where he's just came from, around this unit. So I thought, well, let's look at tie breaks first, takes it to here because it's compass direction, and then that would be that. That's where it would go. 9.25 wouldn't be able to adjust it. And I thought, well, if we 9.25 first, we're looking at this hex, or this hex, and this one's going to be cancelled out because these two are closer. And no, hang on. No, we're talking 9.25, Grant. We're not talking. So if we were, let's just, I'll go and just check. If we were at 9.25 just now, rather than tie break first, we would have three options. I know this is probably daft. Okay. So the hex would cause German unit to become surrounding. No. Hex is over it. So what? A hex not occupied by or adjacent to a Soviet unit adjacent to the same German unit. That would be occupied by, that would be adjacent, that would be adjacent. So none of them apply. An empty or garrison hex, so that removes that one. And then a hex not occupied by an active unit. So it still leaves both of them, doesn't it? And then you would still need a tie break, and you would still come down to that. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's all just too much, Grant. Just too much. So 1-2 ratings under control, and then 1 in there. That is him moved. He's moved closer to his front objective, and that was what he was wanting to do. So all was good in the world. Yeah. Okay. So let's just check 18. But well, actually, no, he's not. We're not holding surround on that guy anymore, because the other guy moved away. So I think he's going to have to go up and around, wasn't he? It's unlikely, I think. Yeah, he's 6 away from where he is. He can go 1, 2, 3, 4 up to here, and actually it's still only 6 away. It's not. It looks like it's moved further away, but it's because it's on the actual column. So yeah, no, he's not going to do that. And then, so just to check, strength and potential attack. If not adjacent to German unit, move to a hex adjacent to German unit. Well, he is adjacent to German unit. So a unit starting adjacent to German unit does not move by this method. And then 9.25 kicks in. So well, was there any point doing this? It's the same as the other movement. He's going to be locked into but this is the last movement method. So can he 9.25 though and get to a better hex possibly? Yeah, I don't think he's going in it. It's somewhere between the two again. He can't come down into here. So again, I think it's going to go. I can't surround not adjacent. Well, there's where I would have thrown me before, because I would have said, oh wait, now I'm adjacent to a Soviet unit. But that's not the case. It's not what it's meant to be. So empty hex occupied by an active unit. Right, no, nothing there. And then closest to the unit's objective, Well, they're going to be as close actually, aren't they? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, they're both the same. However, then the last one, the next one is compass direction, and this one is west, so that's going to be that. Okay, that's all the movement then. And I'm not so sure there's going to be much. Well, there is going to be a couple of checks to look at though. Right, let's see some attack checks then. So what have we got? Well, Unit 1. Yeah, I think he's tried to do stuff up there before, hasn't he? And he's against a tougher guy now, so it's still going to be a check though, is it not? Is it not 1-to-1? I think it is. So he's 6 against 4, but +1 for the IP, +1 for being adjacent. So 6 against 6 against 6, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. So 1-to-1. Card value of pop-offs are 3. So yeah, he's up against, it's armor he's up against as well, isn't it? Yeah. So probably unlikely. So 1-to-1, it's a 3, it's not 2-to-1, it's not in the barrage zone. Yeah, he does have a combat attack this time. It's in support, so that's 4. They don't only, it's not just them that's got armor, we've both got armor. Attacking units are surrounded, they are not. Flanking will apply, it will not, and the unit's not surrounded. It's not a target VP hex. Combat tactics would apply, it's got combat engineers, which would remove the IP, so that applies. That's a 5 if they've got less than 4 cards. What have they got now? They've got about 6, I think, haven't they? Oh, they've got 4. Okay. Yeah, it's just gonna what? So if it's less than 4, so they've got 4. However, that would only took it to 6. It's set at 5 just now, so it still wouldn't have happened. But yeah, it is less than 4, so that's not going to trigger as we look on. Now, it's not been the first time where there's been a wee dash missing, so I'm just going to double check that in the rule book that it is less than 4. If, in fact, well, it even reads it out. It says it in words, if less than 4 cards are in the Soviet drop pile. So we've got 4 cards, so it's not less. Okay. Right, next one is 13 down here. Now, well, he's only adjacent to this, but he is stacked with 2 other units, so that's 8. 8 to 5, he's getting a +1 though, so 8 to 6. So yeah, yet again, only 1-to-1 odds. Do we need to go through this check? 1-to-1, the cards are 3, supports a 4. No, attacking it surrounded. No, it's not flanking. No. Combat tactic does apply. Well, it gives them extra strength, doesn't it? That's in a town, but I think it gives them extra strength anyway, so it does apply. Again, it's only taking it to 5 though. So then unit 17 would be next. Just had a thought about something. No, that's fine. I mean, oh no, he's not. He's got buddies. In fact, these couldn't be lead units anyway, so we don't check them anyway. So it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 strength against 4, +1 for the IPs, 5, +1 for the adjacencies, 6. So it's 7 against 6. Again, 1-to-1. Nothing surrounded. So yeah, we're only going to come to a 5 at best there. This one then. Have they got armour? No, because that's mechanised infantry on the top. Not that that's the question. The question is, do they only have armour? Is it only them that's got armour? Flanking will apply. Yeah, it's not. And it's not. It's got to be a VP hex of 2 or more as well. So that's when we were talking about the cities. So yeah, no, it's not going to apply there either, and that's the last check. Well, these units would normally be able to check this, but they're both one-step units, so not one of them can be the lead unit, so we can't do a check there. I missed unit 18, sorry. Because he is adjacent to... it's not going to be happening though, because that's 3 against 2, +1 for an IP, and +1 because he's coming across the river. So it's 3 against 4, so it's less than 1 to 1. So, no, not happening. Okay, right, well, let's see if any of these guys might bounce back to the reserves then. So, well, we're looking at anything that didn't move. So what I'm going to do is straighten these guys up if they've moved. And that means they're not considered for reserved, for going back to reserve. So we've got this and these 2 one-step units. Now, he's on his own. I'm just trying to do this and make it a bit quicker. So he's on his own. He's not stacked with anything. And he's not... Oh, wait a minute. No. The village thing, because this is southwest villages now, isn't it? In adjacent to village targeted only by the non-active front. That is not the case. And if he was in a VP hex, then that would be the other one. But the main one we're looking at is in non-VP hex and operational limit, stacked with unit or adjacent to 2 Soviet occupied hexes. Well, he's not stacked with a unit, and he's only adjacent to 1 occupied hex. However, this guy, or should I say these 2 guys, and we'll do this in descending order, don't we? So we look at 26 first. And remember, there's going to be a 6 army unit underneath. So he's in supply. He didn't move or attack. He's adjacent to German unit. Removal would not cause Soviet unit to be nearly surrounded or unable to trace supply. Well, remember, like I say, we're leaving 2 units behind with that first one. So, and then if an operational limit, removal would not cause surrounded German unit to be unsurrounded. That wouldn't be the case, and again we're leaving units behind. Unit was not placed as a reserve. Yeah, okay, so he's going to bounce to reserves, and then the guy underneath's going to join him, because he's exactly the same. There's quite a lot in the reserve units post now. Okay. Yeah, we didn't have any reserves before we started any checks, so yeah, need to stay switched on with that one, Grant. Okay, and then yeah, basically remove disperse markers. There's none of them, so yeah, not a lot happening. Popov not really doing an awful lot, are they? I don't feel. I mean, I guess that this 6 strength guy way up here not doing enough. I mean, I'm starting to feel bad in the fact that he might have. Well, would he though? I mean, he's still got to protect Izium, and he is doing that solely. You know, he's not. I mean, if he moves any hex past Izium, then he's breaking a restriction. So it might not have made any odds. Yeah. But again, I was reading the rule at first as it was written in the book, so I can only sort of go with that. Right, okay, right, I'm going to wrap this one up, and oh yeah, I forgot, we've got another impulse to come now, haven't we? How many times have I done that? Right, so this never got used, so we're going to have another mobile group pop-off activation, but just units. And this time they will have a couple of reserves to bring on, so I need to remember that. Right, so that moves across the command card box. This gets discarded. And, yeah, okay. Right, well, I've still got a bit of time. Well, if not right now, I might need to take a break just now. I'll hopefully get that other Soviet impulse in before the end of the night. But this will add on to the part that I've done already and make a good hour and a bit, I think, so that'll be fine for part 24, I think. So this is the conclusion of it. Right, okay, I'll be back soon, guys. Cheers.